Hey guys, how are you doing today? It's P.E. Gilbert, your blogger, writing consultant, and the author to the fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter. And today, we are going to discuss the latest on the TV and movie adaptations for Patrick Rothfuss's Kingkiller Chronicles. But before we go any further with today's content, hit that subscribe button. Patrick Rothfuss is the author of the Kingkiller Chronicles, which centres around the life of Kvothe. The first book in the trilogy, The Name of the Wind, came out in 2007, and the second, The Wise Man's Fear, in 2011. But since then, all that Patrick has published is a novella, The Slow Regard of Silent Things, which is a short tale about the recluse Princess Ori, which came out in 2014, as well as a chapter called The Lightning Tree for the Rogues Anthology, which follows a day in the life of Bast. Thus, 9 years on from The Wise Man's Fear, we are still waiting for the third book in the Kingkiller Chronicles, The Doors of Stone. While I was doing research for my previous Patrick Rothfuss video on how his editor has called him out for the constant delays vis-a-vis Book 3, I came across a blog post on a Q&A that Patrick did in February 2017, wherein Patrick spoke about his progress with regards to his third book and the screen adaptations for his novels. He said, "Viewed from one angle, my life could not be better. I've got a movie and TV deal going, Lin-Manuel Miranda is involved, I have several successful books out, translated in 35 languages, millions of books sold, 2 lovely children. But I'm a mess. I'm such a mess. And I'm behind on everything, and the writing isn't going well." This is what Patrick said in February 2017. And judging by his rude response to a user in April who asked if The Doors of Stone would be coming out in 2020, and judging by his editor, Betsy Walheim, claiming that Patrick hasn't written anything in 6 years, I think it's fair to say that Book 3 is still not progressing well, and that we're not going to be reading it for a while yet. Nevertheless, it was the other part of the answer that Patrick gave in the Q&A in February 2017 that caught my attention for the purpose of this video. So let's take a look and see what's happening with the film and TV adaptations for the Kingkiller Chronicles novels. Film studios are always on the lookout for the next Harry Potter and Game of Thrones. You know, a cash cow. And the story of Kvothe, the protagonist regaling his life story, has gripped millions of readers worldwide, including myself, in the 13 years since the first book got published. Therefore, to some extent, it was only a matter of time before studios decided to adapt Patrick's series. In 2015, 8 years after The Name of the Wind came out, The Hollywood Reporter announced that Lionsgate had won the rights to adapt the Kingkiller Chronicles to multiple movies, a TV show, and a video game. Soon afterwards, the cable network, Showtime, announced that they would be the place where viewers could watch the TV series, and that the writing team for the series would include none other than Hamilton writer and star Lin-Manuel Miranda. Moreover, Leverage creator John Rogers was going to be the showrunner, while Patrick Rothfuss himself and Jennifer Court of The Player and Robert Lawrence of Die Hard with a Vengeance were going to be executive producers for the TV series. All of this is probably what Patrick was referring to during the February 2017 Q&A when he said that he had a TV and movie deal going. But 2017, let alone 2015, feels a very long time ago now. Apparently, the plan for the TV series was to set the show around a generation before the Kingkiller Chronicles series begins. It was going to focus on the adventures of 2 travelling musicians from the Idima-Ru, a sort of travelling ensemble / troupe / people who entertain through shows by going from town to town in the old-fashioned way. It was never confirmed, but the 2 musicians were likely to be Kvothe's parents, Lorien and Arliden. That would be appropriate, as Kvothe's parents were talented musicians who were part of the Idima-Ru, as Kvothe is at the start of the Kingkiller Chronicles. Plus, Kingkiller Chronicles fans, like myself, for sure would be interested to see and learn more about Kvothe's parents and the world they came from. As recently as May 2019, the script for the TV series seemed to have been progressing quite well. Showrunner John Rogers said back then that he had more or less finished writing a draft of the Kingkiller season finale. Rogers hinted that the 10 episodes for the first season had been drafted, but that there was still a lot of work ahead. He tweeted, "This is the day I put the season finale pages down and back out to the outline and track the emotional payoffs of the season-long themes longhand. It's as if I need the physicality of the pen to break the typing mindset of plotting and dialogue and scene work." However, those drafts don't appear to have been good enough. In September of that year, for unspecified reasons, Showtime decided to pass on the rights for the TV series and put the rights up for sale to bidders. A rumour abounded some months later that Apple was interested in picking up the series for its upcoming streaming service. But nothing concrete has come of this rumour as yet. All of this does not sound positive. Lin-Manuel Miranda hinted at why the adaptation for the TV series has hit a snag and why perhaps Showtime passed on the rights for the show. In an Ask Me Anything on Reddit before the end of 2019, Lin-Manuel answered a question about what it was like to work on the Kingkiller Chronicles TV series by saying, "The honest answer? We haven't cracked it. As you know, it's an incredibly rich story and complex world. When we crack it, there'll be news. But not before it's absolutely right." Working with Pat has been a total joy. Yet, there may be another reason for why Showtime has passed on the rights for the show. We'll come to that shortly. As for the film adaptations for the Kingkiller Chronicles novels, well, from the little that is known about them, they seem to be going even worse than the TV series. According to IMDb, the film is in pre-production, whatever that means, and no actors are attached to the project. In fact, I have not come across any significant rumours of actors being lined up to play Kvothe, which is not a good sign. The only people attached to the project, according to IMDb, is director Sam Raimi, who directed the 3 Spider-Man films between 2002 and 2007, as well as Oz, the Great and the Powerful. Moreover, the screenwriters for the film adaptation are listed as Patrick Rothfuss and Lindsay Beer, who I've read has a writing credit for Transformers 5 under her belt. But IMDb's page may not be up to date. In December 2018, Sam Raimi said that he was no longer part of the Kingkiller Chronicles films. Since he has now signed on to direct the new Marvel film Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness and the sci-fi film World War III, he is probably not going to be directing any adaptations of Kvothe anytime soon. So overall, despite the positivity that Patrick conveyed in his February 2017 Q&A around the adaptation of the Kingkiller Chronicles world for the big and small screens, evidence would suggest that production for those, as well as the video game that we mentioned earlier, is not going well. Indeed, they may not be moving along full stop, and this time it has little to do with the pandemic, or rather the Dark Lord that shall not be mentioned. Rather, I think the reason for why productions have grinded to a halt is because of Patrick Rothfuss himself. As said earlier, it has been 9 years since The Wise Man's Fear came out, and judging by Patrick's conduct in recent months, the wait for The Doors of Stone is going to continue for a while yet. Undoubtedly, studio executive producers are hesitant to invest in adapting a book series when the series is incomplete. No one wants their film or TV series to go as badly off the rails as Game of Thrones did after the showrunners ran out of book content to adapt. Incidentally, it has also been 9 years since George R.R. Martin published the last book in his A Song of Ice and Fire series. What is it about epic fantasy authors taking near a decade to write/publish the next book in their series? What could possibly take them so long? Therefore, Patrick Rothfuss is very possibly the spanner in the works for why his books have not been adapted as yet. Studio executives appear to have learned their lessons from the Game of Thrones debacle and mitigate certain issues, by waiting until the trilogy is complete. Looking back, Patrick was probably getting a bit ahead of himself when he discussed the progress with regards to his film and TV adaptations in February 2017, as it sounded like good progress. Yes, he does have them in the pipeline, but neither the TV series nor the film are past the pre-production stages. Perhaps Patrick should have nuanced his answer in February 2017 and given us a more accurate impression about how the TV series and the film adaptations were coming along. Then again, this is a guy who has repeatedly told us since 2011 that he is progressing with The Doors of Stone, even if at times not well, only for his editor to call him out for not writing a word on it in 6 years and for him to have failed to respond to her claims as yet. Just like with Book 3, maybe Patrick hasn't been wholly truthful about how the book and TV series adaptations are coming along. This suspicion is backed up by Patrick's silence over the screen adaptations in recent years, i.e., if the screen adaptations were going well, why hasn't he said anything about them in 2020? For instance, why hasn't he given us an update on whether or not the pandemic has affected their progress? Part of me finds the lack of updates odd, as I would have thought that Patrick would want to keep us informed about how they are progressing. Unless, of course, they are not going as well as he previously claimed, and would rather brush his previous comments under the carpet as if he'd never said anything at all. If that is the case, that's sad, and may also hint that, despite the initial excitement that Patrick generated, we will not be getting any screen adaptations for the Kingkiller Chronicles ever, or at least not until after The Doors of Stone comes out, and heaven knows when that will be. And that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you for watching, and I hope you have enjoyed this video and that it has given you a solid understanding for where we are with regards to the screen adaptations for the Kingkiller Chronicles novels. Like, comment and hit that subscribe button, and tell me, are you disappointed that we are unlikely to be getting any Kingkiller films and TV series anytime soon? And if you were a studio executive, what would you do? Would you wait until Patrick finished the book series? Or would you make a film or a TV series all the same based on what is out at the moment? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. Otherwise, my debut fantasy novella, The Sultan's Daughter, is out. If you enjoy reading a book that is short, fast-paced and full of suspense, then check it out. I have left a link in the description below. Until next time, keep well. Once again, guys, I just wanted to say thank you so much for watching my video. I really appreciate it and I hope you've enjoyed it. Hit that subscribe button and then you will be the first to receive more awesome content from my channel, and I hope to see you again soon.